able to find out where foodstuffs were kept. And it seems that that took place in Adamawa yesterday. Grains were stolen. The governor of that field, due to the fact that many Nigerians in that particular state refused, to find out why they are not being taken care of and food are kept somewhere, maybe for the reason to look after them in the first place. We don't know. 11:36, Star Radio UK, the morning show. NLC insists on the Wednesday strike, mobilize their workers, and according to the headline, the Nigerian Labour Congress has now commenced mass mobilization. I've seen a lot of placard that will be used. It already circulated about almost 15 different ones. I'll see if I can give you some of what is written on some of them. Ahead of his planned nationwide strike schedule to begin Wednesday to protest the hardship occasioned by the fuel subsidy removal. In a schedule obtained on Sunday, the NLC urged Nigerians to join us at the Unity Fountain, Abuja, on Wednesday, August 2nd at 7 a.m. There is nowhere in the world where government leaves the citizen totally to a vigorous of market without some measure of control and protection. The federal government should immediately deal decisively with the criminal content of the subsidy instead of exposing ordinary citizens to avoidable pain and hardship. As a matter of national importance, it is imperative to fix all our refineries to be able to cater for the domestic fuel consumption. This is coming from the NLC this morning. So let's come back again, as a 2-week sit-at-home is non-negotiable. That is coming from the government in exile. The Prime Minister, Simon Ekpa, warns the Indigo. The Prime Minister of the Biafra, Simon Ekpa, has warned Indigo to adhere to the 2-week sit-at-home order that he issued. He went out on Sunday. This was on his Twitter handle. That came back and say, Ekpa had on July 11, 2023, issued the 2-week sit-at-home, which, according to him, would commence today, 31st of July 2023. He noted that the sit-at-home seeks to address certain issues, like the immediate and unconditional release of IPOB leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who remains illegally detained at the DSS dungeon, in preparation for Biafra's self-referendum, and to further put the world on notice that Biafrans are taking their future into their hands. Number 3, to invalidate the illegitimacy of those who parade themselves as Nigerian representatives with the Biafran territory. And the last one, the sit-at-home will therefore take place in the following order: the 31st, 2023 to Friday, the August 2023, and there will be a total lockdown in the Biafra land. He said on Saturday, 6th of August and 7th August, the 2-week sit-at-home will go on break as all Biafrans market will be reopened. We will monitor that and see the reaction, but like I said, so far this morning, as usual, the whole part is locked down as we speak. Subsidy removal, Nigeria on the brink of collapse. It seems that some Catholic bishops are speaking out as well. The Catholic Bishop Conference of Nigeria, CBCN, yesterday raised the alarm that the removal of the fuel subsidy without cushion, the effect has put the country on the brink of collapse. Remember that we've been saying that even the leader of the GO Redeemed Christian Church told us some few years back that if care is not taken, Nigeria might break up, as we know. Again, the question is, what would Bola Tinubu say tonight that will probably allow Nigerians to slow back and look into his government that is still a new government and there's still more time? But the president of the CBCN, Louis Iwuruju Ugoriji, raised the alarm in the homily deliver at the Marietta Cathedral during the reception of the Supreme Subordinate President of the Knights of the St. John International, Professor Remi Uche, in Owerri weekend, said Nigeria might be heading for the precipice if nothing urgent is done to effectively check the current economic crisis facing the nation and its citizens. He said further, the suffering in the land has over the years been galloping, uncontrollable. Our growing economic crisis became exhibited with the recent withdrawal of the petrol subsidy. But indeed, Nigeria is now on the brink of collapse. Government has not ceased to inundate citizens. Maybe Bola Tinubu will be doing that later on tonight. We will be monitoring that as well. Ohanaeze backs Enugu governor battle against sit at home is also the headline. 88 robbery suspect arrested in Lagos. As we do say, when there's no job, more problem, it seems Nigerians are going into the issue of kidnapping, other robbery activities that is happening as well. Also, I've been following more of the cow that seems to be infected with disease. 5 of them were burnt in Lagos yesterday. We hope that the Lagos State governor will be taking every measure to protect the citizens and the 20 million Lagosians and Nigerians that are living in Lagos for businesses and other reasons as well. I'll take one more headline and go straight to the social media where the battle goes on every day for Nigerians. Nigerians not respected abroad due to the kind of characters leading us. This is actually coming from the Labour presidential aspirant Peter Obi. Peter Obi says that Nigerians doesn't seem to be respected. And I'll give you an example. I remember last year during the COVID, Professor Wale Soyinka was traveling through Paris. He was stopped. It wasn't something more than the fact that just as many Nigerians go through the same problems. More Nigerians faces problems when they travel through the Morocco, all these other regions, and sometimes more Nigerians faces crises even outside those territories as well. The presidential candidate of the Labour Party at the 2023 election, Peter Obi, says international communities will not respect Nigeria because of the characters leading the country. I don't know who is addressing those characters to. It could be anybody from the civil servant to the president to the governors. Mr. Obi spoke about many Nigerians are disrespected in other countries in a Twitter space that was anchored on Saturday. They cannot respect us where we are able today. They cannot respect us because of the characters in charge of our country, said Mr. Obi, a former governor of Anambra State. All of us politicians have failed the country. This was part of the independent journalist David Odoye, who recently denied entry into Zimbabwe. Mr. Obi said he had a similar experience where he was disrespected in another country. I'm not sure why he doesn't want to mention UK, because we know that he was stopped in UK, even though the APC or the other political party, just as they wanted to link Peter Obi. Remember we said that on Friday when a picture circulated, and that's the picture there, of Simon Ekpa, Aisha Yusuf behind, and I don't know who was doing this, but it seems that whoever was behind it was doing it for a particular reason. Let's go straight again. The Super Falcon are still doing very well in Australia. We will continue to monitor that. I'll be giving you more update on that later on tomorrow when we come back because of time spent already. Let me now go back and see who is trending. Simon Ekpa seems to be the top head of the trend in Nigeria as at over the weekend. And the reason for that is, it seems everybody, I'm just looking at the live message coming now, Ireland 0, Nigerian 0, at the Super Falcon World Cup that is going on right now. And as I say, Simon Ekpa seems to be trending, very heavily this morning, and all this got to do with the 2 weeks at home. African Confidential at Bumi_speaks. I have never hidden my support for Simon Ekpa. I won't start today or any other time soon, regardless of any backlash from anyone, irrespective of who you are, because I recognize a true freedom fighter when I see one. They are hard to come by, and know one, and know them, and know that they don't always have to be on ground. If the impact of their voice is already felt on the ground, forget what you think, so you can quit the envious, let him come fight from home. Talk already, it makes you look foolish. And when people say we should come back home, let me remind a kidnap that took place again over the weekend of a journalist. And this we are saying to the whoever is behind that, just as Daddy Yati has been kidnapped for the last 4 years. Another journalist in the name of, let's get that name out, the journalist Chinezo Uba, otherwise known as Nso Nkwa, was whisked away on Thursday. Like I said, Nigerian news is always delayed. I picked this up over the weekend after it was trending on the hashtag. He was taken away on Thursday by the officers after he finished his anchoring his morning program. Imagine finishing my program and the MI5 or the UK police have to bust into my house and remove me because of some of what we say that might not really align with, I heard you talking about how we're going to vote out Labour Party for making life difficult for us in UK when it comes to Sadikan, when it comes to, the whole, go and buy a new car when some of us are already facing difficulties. These are some of the reasons why we say that when people say come back home, we say no, there's no home yet because there's too much injustice going on where the security agency have become a tool for the corrupt politicians from the southeast to the middle belt to the southwest. And it seems that this individual was whisked away on Thursday after his morning program on Osisa FM, a radio station in Owerri, the state capital. Osisa FM, where the journalists work, is owned by Catholic Diocese of Owerri, and we are now saying to the United Nations, the Amnesty, and likewise those that are in support of rule of law to ask whoever is behind this should now allow him to either go to court or allow him to be free so that he can return back to his family. So when people say Simon Ekpa should come back home, myself and the rest of those that are real campaigners of the freedom, we say we can't come back because the security operatives are killers, just like those were killed during the NSAS and their bodies were taken away until leak memo came out to say Sanwo-Olu was going to pay 60 million naira to bury 130 innocent bodies. The question is, where were those bodies when we were asking them 3 years ago? Star Radio UK, I'll come back again to you in the studio and we can do a better, more review before we bring the program to an end.
Share your take with us on that. So I'll be enough money to now too. But I mean, the first thing whilst we were looking at that, we'll come to the president's state address this night. But the tribunal, the elected position tribunal is as fixed tomorrow for Tinubu Atiku to adopt their final rating address. Now, how do you think the whole thing is going? FPP, can you smell anything there at all, or we are just following it?
Well, like I said, there's so much on the table. The election tribunal is what many Nigerians, especially those of the obedient, are waiting for. They're waiting carefully for the outcome. We have had different leak memo coming from their WhatsApp group, especially from the obedient group, that they will come out and there will be a massive protest if what they're expecting doesn't turn around. We've seen Atiku come out in a protest. Just after that, the question is, we've seen Tinubu says there will be anarchy if I am removed. So it seems all I can say is that for not to speculate, we just have to wait. Let them complete what they have to do. But it seems that the judges are really under pressure, and I hope the DSS will not be picking them up before they make their final decision. Imagine the judge are missing when they are meant to be giving a decision, and that would be one of the biggest problems that we have.
Well, I'm laughing to that, but that was exactly what came into my mind. I'm like, if they give anything that is contrary to what is the president's fault or the DSS fault, I bet you will not go home.
And we see maybe by tomorrow we might see if we can get to speak to the leader of the Biafra government in exile, Simon Ekpa. I'll see if we can bring him on air to speak to us on the Star Radio UK in the morning show, just to give us an highlight of what the 2 weeks and what is all around it as well. So maybe tomorrow, because of the time constraint today, and we haven't told him ahead, we'll see if we can get him to speak to us so that we can have a background. But when it comes to the three candidates, every single one of them would not know what will be the outcome, but there's been a lot of pressure on the judges, and the pressure will determine whether it will come fair or it's going to be the same that judges come back. But I mean, we've seen rerun, like I told you, the Turkish government had a rerun election. We've seen court cases between Biden and Trump, and we've seen court cases even in California. Is it Florida, where there was a lot of pressure during some of the election in those regions. So it's just that the three candidates have huge followers, But the question is, will there ever be rule of law in terms of how the election was conducted? Because there was a lot of pressure where people were not allowed to vote in certain states, and all the reason for that is because many Nigerians continue to be marginalized, either from both sides. Whether you are Yoruba, you get marginalized. Whether you are Igbo or whether you are Hausa, but it seems that the top marginalizer are the Fulanis that took control and destroyed the economy for a very long time with so much evidence. And it seems all that is now building out because we saw how Buhari played out the ethnic card while he was in government. He employed his own clansman. He actually opened the borders and allowed Fulani terrorists to infiltrate the country. And every time now, more Nigerians get kidnapped. And if they're not killed, they are paying huge ransom. Remember that we talked about a diaspora, a Yoruba that came from Maryland. It was kidnapped. It was exactly a year on the 27th that he died after paying a whooping 8 million naira, which is almost close to about 15,000 pounds or thereabout. It was not just killed. Another young girl, Rachel, a former final year student, was killed. The young man that took the money was killed. And he was only coming back to Nigeria just to support the community in Ogbomoso. 1 year down the line, nobody knows, who have been arrested. So these are what is also facilitating to people to say, we've had enough, we can dissolve this unity, it's not working. But it seems that some are saying, let's give it the final hope. And the outcome of the election tribunal might be another fire that we are just waiting for.
How much pressure can the country take? What is the way forward back? But we have the president who says he's going to address the nation today. Now, my question is, which areas is going to be looking at? The fuel subsidy is topmost, and you have the NLC as the partners right there. We know that the Southeast economy will not be doing well if this QVC that hope strike continues. And which areas is it going to be addressing? And look at what the US seem to be very quiet and watching everything that is going on through Sunday to be allowed to come to Nigeria to observe the final human rights for the month. Would they allow everything that with the courts? If the court, the moment Buhari left the scene, have the level will be pursued by the DSS and human beings. But the people have to deny this address. But I promise you, not say it's going to lay it out, and therefore, if you want to just stay there, but tomorrow morning, we promise you one thing for sure, we're going to analyze, make sure that you understand everything that we're talking about. Before we go.
Well, it is, good morning from Oluremi Kilanko. Gabi says, good morning to Starr Radio UK, Archie, and the fans. Omo Olubaka says, we need our heritage and our freedom now, no going back. Aziz says, good morning. And likewise, Peter Pan says, Mazinam Dekano is the messenger sent by the heaven. Why you know one go heaven? And the reason for that is that the pastor doesn't want to go to the heaven. That's why they use a bulletproof vehicle when they move around, so that when somebody attack them, they are safe, while the other convoy, when they get attacked, they are probably dead, as we have seen some of those pastors that drive bulletproof vehicles. Starr Radio UK, I'll come back again to you in the studio, but later on this evening, we will monitor what's in. And tomorrow at exactly 11 o'clock, I've given you all the details. Nationwide address at 1900 hours. Thank you so much, Mr. Archie. Bye for now. Wow, we come back now to the Koiki Media Network. Good morning to those of you that have joined us. It's been a weekend that I've taken yesterday to rest so much. That's why we were not out. I'm sure a lot of you were expecting us to come out yesterday, as we do with our Sunday broadcast. But like I said, there's a lot of more discussion that comes up. Moki Bogua, and good morning to all our listeners around the world. We will probably just bear with us. There's a lot of fluctuation in the network. We will disconnect some of the platforms. Thank you so much. Join us on the other platform if one platform is disconnected. The reason for that